Thank you, Christina. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Trisha Gilrain, and I'm the Art Collections Manager working in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. I run the PaintBox programs and coordinate other temporary design interventions in the city. I also take care of the existing collection of public art in Boston and administer the Boston Art Commission, which has the authority to approve all public art cited on city property. I am joined today by my colleague, Nida Faria. Nida, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nida Faria. I'm the Director of Administration and Finance, and my job here is to kind of get you paid on all the artist creations that you guys will create.
Thanks, Nida. Nida and I work together to help you through the process of painting your utility box and getting reimbursement for your project. This project is possible through a partnership with the Boston Transportation Department, who helps to identify available boxes for artists. Did you enter? The program began in 2008, and the goal of our program is to recognize and celebrate local artists. Utility boxes are professionally painted with local artists' original designs located in neighborhood business districts. These painted boxes contribute to the vitality and attractiveness of the urban streetscape. Our program is a great opportunity for artists looking to enter Boston's public art community. Hold on one second. Sorry, everybody, I got some feedback that my mask was a little bit disruptive, so I'm taking that down so that you can all hear me a little bit better. All right, so on this slide, you'll see some of the topics that we'll be covering today. One, your application was accepted, so we're just going to go over the process following that, then also getting paid, and then the preparations that you can take to prepare your utility box and the surrounding area, and then also how to create and document your design, and then finally how to submit for final payment. So we'll be leaving time after our presentation to cover frequently asked questions and for Q&A. So you'll see that there is a toolbar where you can put in questions in the Q&A field. We ask that you use that section and leave the chat function for technical issues that you're experiencing. But we'll do that at the end of the presentation. We're just going to go through a few slides that should cover a lot of what you have questions about. So your application has been accepted, which is why you're here with us today. But what happens next? So we ask that you do read over the acceptance letter very carefully. We sent that to you to the email you provided. It includes your PaintBox location with a link to the photograph and a map, so you know exactly where your utility box is located. It also includes information regarding reimbursement, which we'll also go over today with Nida, and then frequently asked questions about how to prepare the area and the utility box. We realize that you might be new to city processes, which is why we'll go over everything in more detail today and answer your specific questions. And I just do want to emphasize, please read your letter very carefully and also visit our PaintBox website. Many of your questions will be answered in these places, and all of these links will be provided in the last slide for you. Why is it going? Sorry. Okay, on this slide, you'll see a few basic topics and guidance as you begin thinking about starting your project. So if you, unfortunately, we can't change your PaintBox location. The location is the first thing you'll see on your acceptance letter that you received in your email box. We can't change that location, but do let us know if the PaintBox that you've been given is damaged, because we will need to know that. Payment, you will receive the grant in two parts. An initial payment of $200 will be provided to cover supplies, and a final $300 when you're done payment. All payment when you're done painting. all payment requests will be done online. And like I say, NIDA will be going over that process. Identification, you need an official City of Boston artist armband to paint. If you did not pick it up at the Boston City Hall this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, it will be mailed to you to the address provided on your application. And preparation, you will need to create a supply list so that you have everything you need to prep and paint your utility box. So I'm going to pass it over to NIDA, who is going to answer some questions about getting payment. NIDA, go right ahead whenever you're ready.
Sure. So this is like everyone's question about how do you get paid? So first of all, you have to sign up for a City of Boston vendor ID. You have to submit the payment for the first $200 to get your supplies. And once the box is painted, like Trisha mentioned, you take your required photos and then you return the second payment form for the remaining $300. So most of you are new to working with City of Boston. So might have questions, what is a vendor ID? So a vendor ID, think about it as like your social security. It's a 10-digit number that identifies an individual or business in the City of Boston financial system. It is used across departments to issue payments. It's a number that contains your profile. So that means it contains your personal information, your name, your address, your payment preference, if you want direct deposit or a paper check. So once you register as a vendor, you can always go back and change your information. This includes like if you change any banking institution or if you move and you need to change your address, you can always do that. But you can also use that number to apply to other opportunities within our office or other opportunities within the City of Boston. So when will you get paid? So once you have registered as a vendor with the City of Boston, you will submit the payment form, and we can send this payment form out to all of you who haven't submitted yet. The payment form goes through our office, and then it goes into what we call our internal checks and balances. After it leaves my desk, it goes into our auditing offices, and they make sure that our proper account numbers are in there, and the vendor information matches to the one that you provided on the form. And then it goes to Treasury. Treasury is in charge of making sure that artists and everyone else at City of Boston gets paid, whether it's paper check or ACH. I would say ACH is preferred. It's a little bit faster than paper check. Paper checks are mailed out on Friday versus ACH can be deposited into your account on Thursday. So that's something to think about.
Thanks, NIDA. Do you have anything else to add that wasn't covered on those slides?
The only other thing, and this is more common mistakes among artists signing up for vendor IDs, is to make sure that you sign up with your government name, whether it's John Doe or Jill Doe. Please do not sign up as your artist name unless you have a bank account that matches that. We cannot pay Lady Gaga or Daddy Yankees. Your payment form and vendor ID name must match what's on your bank. So just keep a note that whether we recognize your artist name, we want to make sure that we don't have any financial bumps in getting the payment to you.
Thanks, NIDA. And we will be having time later in the webinar to answer specific questions about any difficulty you might have navigating the city website. But now that we have payment process covered, we can move on to starting your project. I created this kind of easy to remember slide for the 4 Ps. So post, prepare, paint, and protect. So post, let passersby know that you're working, and you can create a simple sign just identifying yourself and the work that's happening. And you can also cordon off the area if that helps you to move around the box safely. You can use milk crates and caution tape to do so. Prep your box by covering the keyhole, utility meter, and hinges so that the box remains operational. And then also put down drop cloths. The area that you're using needs to look the same as when you leave, as it did before. So we ask that you do use drop cloths, and then also that you wash and prime the utility box. So there are some methods that is included in your acceptance letter. We're going to go over a supply list, but you're going to want to wash it down with a mild soap. So just use like a dish soap and some water and rags, and then prime it with a water-based primer. And then when you paint your design, we suggest using water-based paint, such as acrylic and latex. It doesn't crack as much as an oil-based paint. And also, you don't need solvents to kind of mix it. So it's kind of an easier process if that's suited to you. And then protect. We recommend also protecting your design for longevity by applying a final coat of varnish and wax or wax. And that is also included in your acceptance letter methods to do that as well. So as I mentioned, we're providing you a simple supply list. Obviously, as an artist, you know kind of the things that you'll need for your specific design, but this is a basic toolkit. So drop cloths, as I mentioned, and signage, milk crates and caution tape, painter's tape to tape off specific areas that I mentioned on the utility box, automobile primer to prime the box before painting, ventilation and protective masks. Obviously, if you're spraying down the box with a primer or you're using spray paint or a spray varnish to protect the box, we want you to be safe and have a ventilation mask on hand. And then protective masks. We ask that you follow health guidelines. It's not required, but recommended to wear a protective mask while working. Water-based paints, paintbrushes, water and water receptacles, mild soap, paper towels, and or rags, trash bags, protective coatings, like I mentioned, varnish, a water-based polymer varnish, and then butcher's wax, your City of Boston Painters Badge, your smart device to tag us on social media, and we will be providing those tags in the last slide for you. On this slide, you'll see some information on receiving your final payment. The first step to receive that $300, which will complete your grant reimbursement, is to send a photo of your completed design. You can send that to me. I'm Trisha, and I've been probably communicating with you a lot over these past few days and this past month. Please get in touch with me with those photographs, and then also copy NIDA because she'll need to process that payment, but she should have your vendor ID at that point. NIDA, do you want to add anything about that? So I created this slide because I know that there are some frequently asked questions about beginning this process. If I run into any issues after today, who should I contact? Definitely contact me if you have questions about kind of the logistical nature of starting your project, the location of your paint box, etc. If you have questions about payment or you're having difficulty navigating the city's website for payment, please be in touch with NIDA. Those are our emails right there. They're also on your acceptance letter, so you should have those in your inbox as well. Are these instructions available anywhere if I need to go over anything that was covered today? So we ask that you visit our website, Boston Arts and Culture. We do have a specific PaintBox website that goes over frequently asked questions. You can also see examples of other paint boxes. And we will be putting this webinar on our YouTube channel. You can access that through the Boston Arts and Culture website as well. How do I get word out about my paint box? So we ask that you tag us, and this is a great opportunity to get more visibility for your design. And those are our handles for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Are there any social distancing requirements? All artists are encouraged to follow public health guidance, and it's encouraged but not required to wear a mask. How long do I have to complete my paint box? Your PaintBox badge expires on October 31st, 2021. I also wanted to mention that if you did not pick up your, I think I mentioned this earlier, but if you did not pick up your PaintBox badge yesterday or the day before here at City Hall, it will be automatically mailed to you. So you will have that in hand. And we ask that you wait for it to arrive before you begin painting. So now we just have some time for some general question and answer. Please put your questions in the Q&A field. On this page, you'll also see our tags, just so that you have those on hand, and then also our website if you need to access any information about PaintBox. All right. We have a few questions in the Q&A. Somebody just asked, are there recommended paint brands that past artists have used, or is any water-based paint okay? I do not believe we can recommend specific brands to you, but a water-based paint that you can get at the hardware store for exterior painting, such as house paint, is fine. And then also acrylic paint that you use as an artist. So anything that you buy at the art supply store is good. You will be doing a sealant over that, so you don't have to rely on the integrity of the paint itself, because you can varnish the paint box following that. Nida, it looks like we have a general question: how to submit payment, where can we find the payment form? If you just want to reiterate that again.
Sure. So the payment form will be sent out later after this webinar, and the payment to go will be sent to my email. So you're gonna fill out with your vendor ID and your name and address, and just put in for the first $200. You are gonna sign the form. You either scan the photo or take a photo of the form, and you can send it to my email.
Thanks, Nida. Another question: how many people are doing PaintBox this year, and is there any way that we can communicate with each other through the process? So about 90 people are doing PaintBox. Unfortunately, we can't distribute any contact information from other artists, but I can let you know that all the artists will be painting starting this week or next week possibly, and finishing up October 31st. So it'll be an active program, but unfortunately we can't put you in touch with one another. The next question is, I have my vendor ID. Can I have the form to get the $200? I believe Nida just covered that's going to be done online. Another question: are there any suggestions for a time of day or week to paint? I mean, I would say if you could target times of day where the foot traffic is going to be a little less, that might be helpful on your end in terms of having space to do your project. But I don't really have any recommendations for specific days or weeks. Your PaintBox badge does expire on October 31st. We do want to keep you out of the cold. And we do target the summer months because it's just warmer and more pleasant outside. But as far as days and weeks, I don't have any suggestions. Nida, do you?
No. Yeah, it all varies on where the location is.
Yep. I submitted 2 designs. Which one was selected? So if you submitted multiple designs and you were accepted as a PaintBox artist, all of your designs were accepted, and you can choose your favorite. We have another one. Hello, I was assigned a location with multiple boxes. Do I just choose one of them to paint? I would recommend you get in touch with me directly so that we can review the map I sent you, just so that we can clarify which box we intend to have you paint. So please get in touch with me at patricia.gilrain@boston.gov. Hello, I am having an issue with my vendor ID. It said one already exists, but it's not recognizing my email address. Nida, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Please email me. It could be possible that you might have used a different email, or it could just be a typo, and it's actually recognizing has like it already assists. So please email me so I can walk you through, help you out.
Great. Another question: is spray paint okay to use along with water base? Yes, spray paint is fine. I did recommend, wear a ventilation mask and cordon off the area. Are we required to paint our submitted designs, or can we create a new design? So the submitted design was part of the application process. So we do ask that you keep to the design that you submitted and that was selected by our office. Someone else has a question about submitting multiple designs. As I said, the ones you submitted were all accepted. So please pick your favorite. And then how many people applied to this round? We had a lot of people apply. We had roughly in the 400s. And we accepted 90. Yeah. And I see a few in the questions in the chat. So one question, if the original paint on the surface of the paint box is cracked, what can I use to make it smoother? So that's where priming and cleaning comes in. You can clean the box and make sure that dust and debris is washed away, and then prime it. So that should give you a smoother surface. And then where do I find my tax identification number and my vendor ID number? So Nida, I believe, did cover that, but if she has anything to add.
Yes, so once you sign up for a vendor ID, you should get an email back from auditing. So if you can check your spam, you should be able to, you should get a number ID back to your email. But you can email me and I can try to search for your vendor ID.
Okay, thanks, Nida. Somebody asked, can we change the color scheme? I think it's fine to add a little bit of creativity to your approved design. Definitely take your design and visit your location and look at your box and see what works. We do ask that you not make any major changes to the design, however. Someone else asks, do we have to put our government name on the box, or can we use our artist's name? I think it's fine to identify yourself with your artist's name if that's how you want to promote your work. I had a problem with my email and vendor ID too, so I had to update my password by saying I forgot user ID and then was able to log in. Nida, do you have any feedback for that? Oh, okay. All right, well, we can hang out for a couple more minutes to see if anyone else has any more questions. But like I said, we are going to post this webinar on our YouTube channel so that you can review this. And I do want to emphasize that the acceptance letter that we sent you contains a lot of information. So if you do have a question, please refer back to that letter first. And if your question isn't answered, like I say, please get in touch with myself at patricia.gilrain@boston.gov if you have logistical questions regarding painting and location, and do get in touch with Nida Faria if you have questions regarding payment. Okay, it looks like we don't have any other questions, so hopefully that means that the presentation was full of answers. We thank you for attending, and congratulations again to be selected. We're excited to see all of your designs. I did want to mention that I will be sending out a Google form this week, and you can sign up and let us know when you will be painting. And this will be an opportunity so that we can perhaps come take some photographs or make sure that you're doing okay on your project. You do not have to share this information with us, but it would be great to offer additional support on site and to promote you on our social media channels as well. So I hope you all have a great day and are very inspired to go out and paint your paint box. So have a great one, everyone.